tell our friends anything?
I'm gonna tell them I love you.
Oh, that is super sweet when you say I love you to people. That's so nice, baby. All right, so.
Harden's coming.
Sorry about the weirdness. Okay, you really need to go now because.
We love you.
Yes, we do love you. You're so sweet. Okay, hey, what's up, guys? So, I hope you've had a wonderful day today, and I have some exciting things that I want to talk to y'all about. Hey, Lauren. Hey, Kayla. So, that's funny. Just wrangle the kids up really quickly so that I can talk to you about some cool stuff. All right, so I know that a lot of you have been sending me messages about different things with nutrition. A lot of you have sent messages inquiring how to get started, how maybe you have an autoimmune disease, maybe you have some kind of underlying inflammatory condition like arthritis that you're trying to control without going on heavy medications. Maybe you just want to get your life under control. Maybe you have some leaky gut stuff. And if you do, or if you don't even know what I'm talking about, you can check all of that out on my blog at coachadrian.com. But I have some really exciting things, and I have something special for y'all today because not only in addition to the blog that I'm going to talk about today, I am going to have a downloadable document for you that you can use as a guide. So I'm super excited about it. It's going to post later tonight, and you can grab that, download it, have a quick reference to the things that you need to be doing. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I am talking about essentially the autoimmune protocol, which is a variation of a paleo diet, and it's an elimination diet that is used to heal what's referred to as leaky gut. So leaky gut has been studied and studied more and more throughout the years, and people, the scientists and physicians have found out that this is an underlying causative factor in a lot of diseases. So inflammation, number one, is a major factor in things like high cholesterol, heart disease, diabetes, things like ADHD that you don't even think about. You just think maybe you were a hyper kid and you just, I'm ADHD and that's whatever. So those things can be managed with nutrition, especially things like arthritis, autoimmune disease like eczema. Y'all, eczema, psoriasis, all of those things can be controlled without having to have heavy doses of steroids. So the downside to being diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder is that there's no cure for these types of things. So, you know, let's take psoriasis as an example. So if you have psoriasis, you know that you have these flare-ups. You have good days and bad days. Maybe it's more severe than other days. Maybe you have eczema and sometimes it's under control, but then you constantly are having to put some kind of steroid cream or even taking oral steroids, which is not good. And the reason steroids are not good is because they increase your risk for osteoporosis. So right now that might not be a big deal to you, but even one dose of a steroid in one 12-month period really increases a significant risk of osteoporosis. So, which means by the time you're 60, 70, 80, you may be having issues with bone density and broken bones and not as virile as you could possibly be in your older age. So, I'm super excited to put this together for y'all tonight. It's going to be a downloadable PDF where you can track the things that you're going to be eliminating. So to heal leaky gut, it has been found to be very beneficial to modify the diet. And like I've said in other videos and like I've said in other blogs, that it is hugely important to to eliminate things a little bit at a time. And the number one and number two most inflammatory causing foods are what? Who knows them? I know you know them because I talk about them all the time. Yes, Beverly, they will thin your skin, cause easy tearing. I don't know if you've ever seen little old people and they always have big bruises and tears on their arms, or they tear so easily if they bump against the door or something. A lot of times that's, it's part of aging too, but those can really cause them. Yes, gluten, sugar, and dairy. There you go. Stacey, you're on the ball, girl. Bev, of course, I know that you've had a lot of success with you and your son. I know you're real passionate about that. Nightshades can be, they are for some people, they're not for other people. So, like for example, for me, I didn't have a whole lot of problems with nightshades until recently. And I think it was just because I was just blowing and going and the stress, and then I became susceptible to nightshades when I ate like half a case of Creole tomatoes in like 2 days. So a little bit of overkill, you know, but when they have Creole tomatoes in season, y'all, you have to get you some of that. So as far as leaky gut, I know I've gone over this a few times, but if you're new on here and you're not 100% sure what I'm talking about, you can heal a lot of inflammatory conditions. You can heal a lot of autoimmune diseases. So most people, when you have these autoimmune diseases like Crohn's, for example, I have a lot of friends that have Crohn's and they struggle with that, or and they're on a high-powered drug and they're in remission, but there's still always that risk of flare-ups, and they are supposed to be watching their diets, but sometimes they don't, and unfortunately, it can lead to major surgeries. It can lead to removal of parts of your colon. When sometimes I wonder if we had tried maybe some diet modification for 6 to 8 weeks early, if that would improve it. I'm not saying it cures it. I'm not saying it makes it go away, because we know that autoimmune diseases cannot be cured, but they can be controlled. And your risk of flare-ups of these kinds of inflammatory diseases like eczema, psoriasis, those kind of things, rheumatoid arthritis, all of those kind of things, it can be controlled. So I am very much of the proactive mindset where if you know that there's something that you can do to help yourself without getting on a whole bunch of man-made chemicals that are going to cause you all kinds of problems. You ever read the warning label on your medication? This causes diarrhea, it causes vomiting, it causes insomnia, it causes weight gain, it causes tumors in your left pinky toe. I mean, just what, you know, hello? So sometimes you read those side effects and you're like, do I really want to be taking this drug, you know? And so I don't know about you, but for me, I'd rather try to manage, yeah, it may cause death. You know, you may have priapism for more than 4 hours. Nurses out there, I know I got some nurses up on here, you know what I'm talking about. If you have priapism for more than 4 hours. I think we had a patient like that once. Interesting stuff. So anyway, don't feel like you have no hope, because there is hope. There are things that you can do to feel better, sleep better, have less joint pain, and don't be just a victim to your circumstances. So horrible heart disease runs in my family, and I'm doing everything that I can to fight that. I'm trying to teach my girls that horrible heart disease and diabetes runs on their dad's side of the family. So, you know, there are things that you can do to prevent those things, and nutrition is number one. Exercise is great. I'm all about my exercise. But the combination of the two leaves very little window for error. So it's not rocket science. Sometimes you got to play with things and try and eliminate. And, you know, I'm not going to say it's easy. It's very hard to take your kids to a pizza party and everybody, including the parents, are eating this delicious pizza and the cheese is just... and you really want that, or the gluten, it's somebody's birthday and there's a beautiful cake and you really want to eat that, but you know what it's going to do to you. So you have to kind of delay the gratification of if you want to eat this delicious cake now, or, you know, is it worth the satisfaction of eating it in that moment and then having severe pain or an eczema flare up, or maybe you're going to get joint pain, or maybe you're going to have some kind of intestinal problem where you are really paying for it with several trips to the bathroom, and that's not kosher if you work in an office. So, you know, nurses, we talk about whatever. So, nothing is too taboo and nothing is TMI. I told a friend of mine that yesterday. Nothing is TMI when you're talking to a nurse. So, been there and done that and seen all your body parts and probably stuck a finger in at least one of them. So, it's just how it is. So, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to send me a message. I will try to help you the best that I can, and stay tuned because I will be putting this PDF inside the blog for you to be able to download and utilize at your convenience. So I hope that a few of you take me up on this challenge. If you've got something underlying going on, it's you know, what's the harm in trying? Little uncomfortable stuff you got to give up for a few weeks, or, you know, crappy medication that makes you feel like literal poo. I don't know. I know what I'm choosing because I don't want them drugs. You know, as a nurse, I've seen the side effects of these drugs. You know, and these poor people have been on them long term, and it's just miserable. I have a neighbor down the street who mentioned the other day that he takes methotrexate and said, you know, I don't wish this on anybody because the pain is so unbearable at times. So anyway, there are things that can be done. I appreciate all of y'all for popping on here, and I will be sharing the information later this evening. And I hope you enjoy the downloadable PDF that I'm going to have out there, and hopefully I'll have more resources for you in the future. I'm working hard to get those courses put up that I mentioned on my page the other day, so I know a lot of you were interested in that, and I'm super excited. But if you need to see more information about leaky gut, the anti-inflammatory diet blog series that I did is a very good basic place to start. And then once you read that and take tidbits out of it, go to the leaky gut syndrome one. And then after that one, you want to hit this series that I'm currently working on, which is called the AIP series. So the AIP diet autoimmune protocol. All right, guys, thanks for hopping on. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. I hope you enjoy the rest of your night. And thanks again for jumping on. Bye.